Have you ever gotten close to someone and felt like that was love? But then, with time, you realized it wasn't really love. It was dependence, neediness, emptiness, dressed as longing. And when that happens, we get hurt. First, slowly, then all at once. And in the end, it feels like we are the ones who got lost. Today, I want to help you recognize the difference. Not so you can protect yourself from love, but so you don't confuse love with lack. In this video, I'm going to show you how the body reacts to real love, how the body reacts to emotional neediness, the 5 signs that you're trying to fill a void, and the exercise I use when my heart starts creating stories. By the end, you won't just understand the difference, you'll feel it. Breathe with me. Love carries a kind of calm, even when it's intense, even when it's strong, even when it's new. It doesn't arrive as desperation, it arrives as presence. Neediness, on the other hand, has urgency, a rush, a hunger to be filled. It's like the other person is a medicine for a pain you already know. The difference is in the body, not in the words. In love, you expand. In neediness, you contract. In love, you feel like you can simply be. In neediness, you feel like you have to. Close your eyes for a moment. Remember someone you once loved, or thought you loved. Feel this. Your body knows. It knows when you're relaxed in someone's presence, when your breathing gets lighter, when you don't have to prove anything, when simply being there is already enough. But it also knows when you're tense, when every message that doesn't arrive tightens your chest, when their silence turns into panic inside you, when you feel like you have to be more, do more, give more, so you don't lose what you have. That tension, that constant fear of not being enough, that is not love. It's neediness dressed up as love. And I'm not saying this to judge you. I'm saying this to set you free. Because you deserve to feel the difference. You deserve to know when you're actually loving, and when you're just trying not to drown. Real love doesn't drown you. It teaches you how to swim. Think about the difference between diving and sinking. When you dive, you have a choice. There's awareness. There's a kind of pleasure in letting yourself go, knowing you can come back to the surface whenever you want. You trust your ability to breathe, to float, to be in the water without losing yourself in it. But when you sink, there is no choice. There is only desperation. You thrash, you fight. You feel like if you don't grab onto something, someone, anything, you'll disappear. And every second without air turns into panic, into a visceral need to be saved. That's how emotional neediness works. It turns the other person into a life raft, into oxygen, into the only thing keeping you alive. And when that happens, you're not really loving that person. You're clinging to them. There's a huge difference between hugging someone and clinging to someone. A hug is mutual, generous, free. Clinging is tight, desperate, suffocating. In love, you can let go of someone's hands and still remain close. In neediness, you hold so tight that you leave marks. And the saddest part, you don't even realize it. Because when you're drowning, all you want is air. You're not thinking about whether you're hurting the life raft. You just want to survive. But relationships built on survival mode don't survive. Because at some point, the other person gets tired of being your life raft. They'll want to swim too. They'll need space. And when they pull back even a little bit, you feel like you're dying all over again. Then comes the anger, the hurt, the feeling of abandonment. But they didn't abandon you. You put on them a weight no one can carry, the responsibility for your wholeness. And that brings us to the most important point of all. Before you can know whether what you're feeling is love or neediness, you need to understand what brought you here. You need to look back, not to blame yourself, but to understand yourself. Because neediness doesn't appear out of nowhere. It has roots. It has an origin. And when you find those roots, you can finally pull the plant out from the base instead of just cutting the leaves that always grow back. Neediness is a scar that hasn't closed yet. It's an old scream that was never heard. It's a child inside you still waiting for someone to come back. And until you look at that child, until you hold their hand and say, "I'm here now," they will keep screaming. They'll keep looking for in other people what only you can give them. The certainty that they are not alone, that they matter, that they deserve to be here. And while you don't do this, you'll keep confusing any crumb of affection with real love. But there's something even deeper. Before love or neediness, there is the reason. Many times we're not really looking for a person. We're looking for relief. Relief from the fear of being alone. Relief from the feeling of being invisible. Relief from the silence inside. We think we're choosing them, but actually, we're choosing the relief they bring. And that's where neediness is born. Not because you're weak, but because at some point in your story, you weren't cared for the way you needed. So when someone appears with attention, affection, presence, you feel like you've finally found water after a desert. But water that comes from the other never satisfies you forever. You drink and drink and drink, and you're still thirsty. Neediness doesn't get satisfied. It just falls asleep for a while. Think with me. When was the last time you truly felt seen? Truly heard? Truly important to someone? If that memory is too far away, or if you can't find it at all, then when someone gives you even a little attention, it feels like everything. And you cling, not necessarily to the person, but to how they make you feel. And there's a huge difference between liking someone and liking not. Feeling alone when you're with someone. Neediness doesn't love the person. Neediness loves the filling. And the problem isn't feeling that. The problem is not seeing it. Because when you don't see it, you confuse it. You mistake that intensity for passion, that anxiety for desire, that fear of losing for love. But it's not. It's just an old wound begging to be cared for. And you're trying to use another person as a bandage. But bandages don't heal deep wounds. They only hide them for a while. Let me tell you a truth no one wants to hear. No other person is going to fill the emptiness that was born in your childhood. No kiss is going to erase the rejection you felt as a child. No "I love you" is going to heal the feeling that you were never enough. Not because people aren't good enough, but because that's not their job. No one can give you what you didn't receive back then, but you can give it to yourself now. And that's the point that changes everything. When you understand that neediness is not about the present, it's about the past, you stop demanding from the other something they can never give you. You stop expecting someone to be the father who abandoned you, the mother who didn't see you, the friend who betrayed you, the love that left you. You stop trying to rewrite your story using new people. And then, finally, you can see who is in front of you. Not as a solution, not as a remedy, not as a chance to fix what was broken, but as a human being with limits, with their own wounds, with a story that has nothing to do with yours. And when you see that, when you really see that, something shifts. You stop demanding. You stop needing. You stop trading your dignity for crumbs of affection. And that's when love becomes possible. Because love is not born from lack. Love is born from abundance. Not the abundance of having everything, but the abundance of being whole enough to share without emptying yourself. When you're empty, you don't share. You transfer. You transfer the responsibility of making you happy, of making you feel valuable, of making you feel alive. And that's too heavy for anyone to carry, even if they love you, even if they want to, even if they try. One day, they'll get tired, and you'll feel angry at them. But the anger isn't about them. It's about the wound that's still open, because you still haven't had the courage to look at it. So before you look for someone, breathe and ask yourself, am I ready to love, or am I just tired of being alone? The answer will show you the path. And if the answer is the second one, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with being tired of being alone. There's nothing wrong with wanting company. There's nothing wrong with missing being touched, held, seen. But acknowledge that. Because when you acknowledge it, you don't confuse it. And when you don't confuse it, you don't hurt people. Not yourself, not the other. Do you know what the greatest act of self-love is? Having the courage to admit when you're not ready, when you're still bleeding, when you're still trying to put yourself back together. Because when you admit that, you stop using other people as medicine, and you start truly healing. Healing doesn't come from the outside. It never did. It has always been inside you, waiting for you to stop searching outside long enough to finally look within. And when you look, when you really look, you find something surprising. You realize you were always whole. You just forgot. And real love, it doesn't complete you. It reminds you of your completeness. So, how do you know when it is love? How do you feel it clearly? 1. Love doesn't demand performance. You don't have to prove your worth. You just exist. In real love, you're not constantly trying to be better, funnier, more interesting, more available. You can simply be. And that is enough. Think about how you feel when you're with this person. Are you relaxed, or are you in presentation mode? Are you being you, or the version of you that you think they'll like? In love, you don't need to edit your words. You don't need to hide your quirks. You don't need to pretend you're always fine, always strong, always with the perfect answer. You can be confused. You can be vulnerable. You can be human. And still, you are loved. Not despite your imperfections, but with them. Because real love doesn't idealize you. It humanizes you. It sees your flaws and doesn't run. It sees your shadows and doesn't get scared. It sees you as a whole and says, "It's you that I want." In neediness, it's different. In neediness, you feel like you have to earn it, that you have to work for it, that you have to try, change, shapeshift to be worthy of staying. And that is exhausting, so exhausting, because you never rest, you never lower your guard, you never simply are. You're always proving yourself, always afraid that if you show too much, if you make too many mistakes, if you disappoint too much, they'll leave. And you know what happens when you live like that? You lose yourself. You spend so much time trying to be what the other person wants that you forget who you really are. And when they leave, and they always do because no one can love a performance forever, you feel lost because you didn't just lose them. You lost you in the process. 2. Love allows silence. There is no panic in the gap between messages. When it's love, you can wait. You trust. You don't spiral when they don't reply right away. You know, silence is not abandonment. It's just silence. Think about how you react when they take a while to reply. Do you stay calm? Or do you start creating stories in your head? She lost interest. He met someone else. I talked too much. I was annoying. It's over. In neediness, 5 minutes without a reply feels like a catastrophe. You check your phone. You reread the last conversation. You look for signs. You analyze every word, every comma, every emoji, or the lack of one. And your body fires up. Your heart races. Your anxiety spikes. Because in that moment, silence is not just silence. It's the confirmation of all your fears. That you're not important. That you're disposable. That you always knew this wouldn't last. And when they finally reply, you feel relief. That huge, almost physical relief. But it's not joy because they messaged. It's relief that you haven't been abandoned. Yet. In real love, you trust. Not because the person has proved 1,000 times that they'll never leave, but because you're whole enough to know that even if they go, you'll still be okay. 3. Love is not afraid of space. It breathes. You can have your own life, your own moments, your own spaces. And that doesn't threaten what you have. Because real love doesn't suffocate. It allows each person to be whole, and then choose to be together. In neediness, any distance feels like a threat. They want to go out with friends. You feel abandoned. They need time alone. You feel rejected. They have interests that don't include you. You feel afraid. Because in neediness, closeness equals safety, and any space turns into a void. 4. Love doesn't create urgency. It doesn't have to be defined right now to exist. In neediness, everything is urgent. You need to define, label, guarantee. In love, there is patience, there is time, there is trust that what is real will remain. 5. Love brings you closer to yourself, not closer to the other, to you. This is the most important sign of all. If what you feel pulls you away from who you are, shrinks you, puts you in a smaller version of yourself, that is not love. It's an attempt to heal an old wound using a new person. Real love brings you back home, back inside yourself. It reminds you of who you are. It strengthens you. It expands you. And when you step away from the person, you don't feel lost. You still feel whole, because you didn't place your wholeness in someone else's hands. You kept it inside you. But there's something even more important. How do you move out of neediness without closing your heart to love? Every time you feel like you're getting attached too fast, do this. 1. Stop. Literally. Stop what you're doing. Stop sending messages. Stop checking your phone. Stop creating scenarios in your head. Just stop. I know it's hard, because when neediness tightens, the urgency feels physical. You feel like you have to do something, anything. Send a message. Check if they're online. Find an excuse to start a conversation. But that urgency, it's not love. It's anxiety in disguise. And every time you act from that place, you feed it. So stop, breathe, and recognize what's happening. I'm scared. I'm anxious. I'm craving validation. Name what you feel. Because when you name it, you take away some of its power. You stop being ruled by the emotion and start observing it. And in that space between feeling and acting lies your freedom. 2. Breathe. Take a deep breath. 3 times. Feel the air coming in. Feel the air going out. Come back to your body, because neediness lives in the head. Love lives in the body. Neediness is story, narrative. It's the movie you create about what might happen, what they might be thinking, how everything might fall apart. But love is sensation. It's the warmth in your chest when you see them. It's the peace you feel when you're together. It's the lightness that stays, even when you're apart. So breathe and step out of your head, because the mind lies. It creates tragedies. It turns silences into rejection, delays into abandonment. But the body knows. It knows when you're safe. It knows when you're at peace. It knows when you're home. 3. Put your hand on your chest. Feel your heart beating. This heart is yours. It doesn't belong to anyone. It beats for you. This is one of the most powerful exercises that exists, because when you place your hand on your chest, you anchor yourself. You remember that you exist, independent of anyone else, that you were here before they arrived, and you'll still be here if they leave. And that's not coldness. It's not indifference. It's self-love. It's knowing that you are your own foundation, that you are your own home. 4. Ask yourself, do I want this person? Or do I just want not to feel this emptiness? Stay in silence. Listen for the answer. It will come. It might take a while, but it will come. If the answer is the emptiness, be gentle with yourself. Don't judge. Don't attack yourself. Just recognize it and say, I stay with me. Because before being loved, you need to accompany yourself. That's what creates real love, when you're not looking for someone to save you, but to walk beside you. This exercise is not easy, because truth sometimes hurts, but it's a pain that heals. It's different from the pain you feel when you lose yourself in someone. That pain hurts and leaves you empty. This one hurts, but brings you back. And every time you do this, you get stronger. You learn to tell the difference between hunger and nourishment, between desperation and desire, between neediness and love. And that changes everything, because you stop accepting crumbs and calling it a feast. You stop calling dependency passion. You stop losing yourself, thinking you're finding yourself. You weren't born to beg for love. You were born to share love. Neediness asks, love offers. Don't rush yourself. Don't shrink yourself. Don't negotiate yourself. You can love, but you don't have to beg to be loved. Real love doesn't make you small. It doesn't make you doubt yourself. It doesn't make you feel like you have to compete, prove, or twist yourself to be worthy. Real love sees you and chooses you. Not because you're perfect, but because you're you. And that is already enough. So breathe and let love arrive when you are whole, not when you're shattered, looking for glue. In the next video, how to love without giving yourself away, the path of love with boundaries. This is the step that changes everything. It's not about closing your heart. It's about learning to dose your soul. If this video touched you, write in the comments, "I choose conscious love." Breathe. You are coming back home, back into yourself.